Well, hey guys, good morning. I know that this is normally the time that Pastor Travis comes up to share some scripture with you. And I frankly love that Sunday morning at Covenant is about two things, which is worshiping God through song and learning about Him through His Word. But building a building is a big deal for a church. And for us as a church, we're right in the middle of that process. And so I hope you'll forgive the interruption this morning for just, I guess, some internal church updates on our building. And so one of the things that me and Pastor Travis, the elders, have been talking about is really increasing our communication when it comes to what's going on with our building campaign. And so over the next few months, the plan is every couple of weeks we'll be up here, whether it's a video, whether it's me or somebody else, we'll have some information about what's going on with our building campaign, where we are in the process. It's a funny thing to be a pastor and learning about how to build a building, right? Because you don't get taught that stuff in school. And so as we learn and get excited and get to communicate these things with you, I hope that you'll be able to take that journey right alongside with us, that you'll be just as excited because this is your building as well. And so this morning, I just wanted to spend some time in this first update and kind of give you some information. So our team here, Luke and Allie Carmichael, who are great, they put together this graphic, which is going to be up on the screen. And what we sort of did, building a building requires a lot of steps, all right? But what we sort of done is broken it down into these 13 major steps. And we wanted to go through with you where we are in the process of pre-construction, everything before we break ground, where we are in that process, so that you can sort of visually see what's been accomplished and what's yet to come as we move towards a groundbreaking date. Does that make sense? Is everybody with me here this morning? All right, good. So let's just start at the beginning, because I know we have guests here and people who have not heard this story. So the first thing that happened was in 2018. This is step one. We started the Again campaign, which is what we called it. The Again campaign was a capital campaign to raise funds for the purchase of a building or land. We didn't know what. We didn't have land. We didn't have a building. We just felt like God was really calling us as a church to really prepare to be permanent. You know, we had been portable for 8 years at that point as a church, and it felt like that shifted. And so we started that Again campaign. People gave and donated, and just as He has been, God was faithful, and it was less than a year later that step two was accomplished, which is we purchased 15 acres of land on Borer Road, right between Buckeye Parkway and 104. If you want to go driving, there's a sign on the property. That's Covenant Church's property. Okay, so we've purchased that in 2019, and we prepared to start building. And then what I call step 2.5 happened in 2020, which is everything kind of went off the rails. Our plans had been one thing, and a pandemic kind of changed everything, from the steel exports and imports being shut down to construction companies having trouble finding workers, to financing being skittish about, we don't know what pandemics are going to do to church finances. And so everything kind of was on pause. And if you've been a part of our church for that long, you rode these roller coasters right along with us as the AMC shut down and we went to online only church at the office, and then the LA Fitness shut down and we moved into their building, and it has been a whirlwind last year and a half as we really, as a church, believe it or not, looking back, we thrived during this time. You invited friends, more people came, people accepted Christ. It was an amazing, in hindsight, an amazing time of ministry. But it was a pretty slow time when it comes to getting our building built. And so as the elders and Pastor Travis, myself, as our team met, we really became convinced that we needed a project manager to really push forward this project if it was going to get done. And so in late summer of this year, we hired a project manager. Her name's Barbara Garrett. A lot of you guys who were at the volunteer team night, was anybody at that volunteer team night where Barb spoke? Yeah. You got to hear from her a little bit. Well, Barb has done a fantastic job of just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. She's taken a lot. And I know Travis can attest to this off of his shoulders and off of my shoulders. And And she's done what a building project manager should do, which is really advised us and pushed. And we've made so much progress, guys, our church towards this building. And the number one thing that she said that we had to do was get a great team on board. And so over the last few months of 2021, that's what happened. With Barb's help, we brought on a new design team, an architect team, Kaiser Design out of Gahanna. We have a civil engineer, Almasian Engineering from Pataskala, and we have a builder, Dublin Building Systems from Dublin. Now, if you are familiar with Leave a Mark Church and you drive by there, Dublin is building their church building right now. So we actually got to go and look at their work. It's pretty cool how God brought all of these things together. And so over the last month or two, we've been working to really finalize what this building is going to be. How many square feet? How many seats? Where does this kid's classroom go? What does this restroom look like? And that has all been completed as well. And so we have drawings. I'm excited to share those with you in the coming weeks. We're excited to tell you that right now we are working on step 6, 7, and 8, which is we're finalizing our site design. Those 15 acres, you can't just put a building anywhere on those 15 acres. There's septic systems and parking lots that need graded and ponds that need dug and all sorts of stuff that I had no clue about. But luckily, our civil engineer and our builder are working right now, and we expect some answers from them in the next week about a final site design. This is what we would submit to Jackson Township. That final site design, they're looking for ways to save money right now on that because it's expensive. It's expensive to build a long driveway and a big parking lot and all of these things. So Dublin and Almasian are working together on step 6 right now. Step 7 is really Dublin's thing. Dublin Building Systems is trying to get us an overall project price. That's kind of a big deal, right? How much is all of this going to cost? And we're narrowing in on that. We don't have a number we want to share with you right now, but we are meeting with the electrical, mechanical, and plumbing engineers on Tuesday, I believe, right? With Dublin, they're going to get some finalized costs, look for more savings that way. And then in step 8, Barb, our project manager, is working with our own finance team to create a package to submit to the lender with this updated project, with our updated financials. And on that side of things, I just want to celebrate, and I want you guys to take a moment to celebrate as well, because 2 years ago, we were in a completely different financial situation than we are now. An amazing thing happened during that pandemic, which is, man, the church faithfully gave over and over and over and over again. And so instead of being in a bad position after 2 years, we're in a great position to submit these financials. We're fully expecting that these next 3 steps will be completed within the next few weeks, which means we get to work towards getting permits and ordering steel and finishing financing. And at that point, we're going to announce a groundbreaking date. And so things are moving along really, really quickly. God's favor and his hand is watched over our church beyond what you can imagine. And so I wanted to share those things with you because there's a lot of momentum right now that's building behind the scenes that I want you to feel and to be a part of. Church, we're moving towards getting into our own space. This is an answer to prayer for years and years and years. And so right now, more than ever, here's what we're asking from you. We're updating you on these things because we want you to be informed, number one. But number two, we want you to pray. Those 3 things, the site design, the final project cost, and the lender approval, those are 3 major hurdles, 3 major steps that we're asking you guys to be daily praying about. We're asking you guys to daily bring those things before God and ask him to continue to watch over and protect our church as we move into this next season and phase of ministry. And if you are not involved in the Again campaign, if you're not involved in this covenant building project and you want to know some more information, I just want to let you know that information is going to be coming. We're redoing that website, the Again campaign website, to make it even easier to figure out how you can give and get involved. But I want to encourage those of you who have made a commitment, you've pledged to give. It's time to give. We're about to submit our financials to the lender. And if we have pledges that you've been waiting for this moment to start your gift, to start your giving, now's the time. And so, church, right now, I just want us to take a moment. Let's just celebrate God's goodness throughout this process. I want you to be as excited as we are. So if you ever have questions about this, you can obviously approach us, talk to us, talk to Pastor Travis, myself, and